You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to look at the redactions at the end credits of Godzilla King of the Monsters. And let me tell you, I think potentially we might have found something very interesting, and I'm going to get into that towards the end of the video. But let's go through some of the redactions real quick. Now, a lot of them are just really lore related. There's not anything too groundbreaking, but some interesting lore. And we're going to go through it right now. So here we go. The first one here, as you can see, footage was found from the USS Scorpion submarine revealed. Then the next redaction after this, the Hollow Earth ruins predate all known human civilizations. So as we can see, we've heard about the Hollow Earth. Dr. Brooks was talking about it, and apparently it's been around for a very, very long time. Over here we have show ancient humans worship titans, and we know that already. Next redaction, obviously people forming symbiotic relationships with some of the titans, Godzilla, Rodan, or rather Mothra. So next redaction, we have forming symbiotic relationships with some, oh, same one, sorry. Now I cut these down frame by frame. The end credit scene is exactly 2 minutes and 22 seconds long. And the redactions were a total, this right here, what you're looking at, is 20 seconds long. But this was after I cut down the speed of the redactions by 75%. So as you can see, these redactions are only a couple of frames. So it took a while to kind of break them down and slow them down long enough so we could actually read them. Scavenge fallen titans for food, building structures from bones and hides. So it looks like whenever the titan fell, the people would actually use their body as resources, which is pretty interesting. Next redaction, massive horns were created to replicate their calls. So more usage of the decomposing bodies of titans by people in the early days. Some of the creatures were called gods, the old ones, or dragons. Pretty interesting there. Every culture worshiped their own titans. So every titan had their own group of people that worshiped them. So like gods. So, and again, this is stuff we know already based on the movie. Tribes built homes near benevolent titan nest to protect against more hostile creatures. Very, very cool. Very cool. So evidence shows that and they use obviously people's names, may have even developed telepathic communication with the creatures. So this is something probably teasing towards, like, you know, Mothra and her connection towards the twins from Monarch and all the preceding twins. Attempted to control them to use them for warfare. So we see that even though the twins are considered good, they might have been other people in ancient time that had the same ability, but used it in a more aggressive manner to control the titans. Very, very cool. Some titans rebelled against their human masters. So it is confirmed that some titans did or were controlled by humans and eventually rebelled against them. A massive cataclysm destroyed an advanced civilization. This is probably alluding to the civilization we saw towards the end of the movie when they tried to revive Godzilla. So good stuff there. And then a war was triggered between man and monster. So man and monster have fought in the past. So interesting. I wonder how that went down with no military weapons. Other survivors were scattered across the globe and eventually formed colonies. So there's kind of teasing, like, you know, or not teasing, but kind of their story, their lore is that colonies began after this war with the Titans. As time passed, even oral tradition, or rather, as time passed, even oral tradition were unable to preserve much knowledge of these ancient creatures. So as you can see here, we're going to be going forward. They're going to start shortly explaining how basically the Titans got lost in time, how as time progressed, they were forgotten. Evidence of these colonies were in Egypt, North America, Europe, Asia, and South America. So again, kind of alluding to that man started, or civilization started, shortly after the war with the Titans. Titans were not invulnerable to geological catastrophes that followed. Interesting there. And then the next one, the cataclysm triggered the Ice Age, sending the Titans into a hibernation. Okay, so that's where they fit their Titan story in. And then surviving pockets of humanity soon forgot their connection to the creatures. Again, really interesting stuff. Seems like, according to their lore in ancient times, there was a great relationship between the Titans and man, and there was a connection of some sorts. And, you know, they talk about how that connection was lost, and stories were passed down orally, becoming a blur of gods. Whoops, sorry about that. Becoming a blur of gods and monsters, myths and legends fictionalized by time. So basically, obviously talking about how over time, the Titans were slowly being forgotten. They went from being real to being legends and eventually fictionalized, you know? So in other words, you tell somebody a legend, nobody believed it, nobody believed they existed. They were basically forgotten. And then Monarch excavate the ruins of these civilizations and extract truths from their stories. We know that. And then over here, their mythology became a centuries-old tapestry. And we know all about the tapestries because that's what they've been using a lot in their marketing. So, believe the Titans are essential to our survival. We heard this in the movie, as well as the creatures are vital to the planet's ecosystem. We learned that as well. And, of course, that if ancient humans lived in balance with the creatures, then so can we. And that's something else they discussed in the movie as well. So nothing new there. Monarch scientists embarked on missions to find dormant Titans all around the world. We know that. Beasts were found sleeping deep beneath many major cities. Interesting. Very cool. Explored ruins in Peru, Vietnam, and Easter Island. Now, I have not been too familiar with the Monarch website. I've gone a couple of times, but I never truly unlocked it. And the reason I'm mentioning that now is because, as you're going to see, as we go towards the end here, there's 6 seconds left in this clip that I've cut down from the 2-minute, 20-second ending. You're going to see that they're going to start mentioning locations that I do not think are on the Monarch website. Maybe some of you guys can confirm. Peru, Vietnam, and Easter Island. I did hear about Easter Island. I'm not sure about Peru and Vietnam. And then some are alarmed by their presence, but others are with Ken Watanabe or Dr. Sarazawa, who believe that many Titans are intelligent, even sentient. Very cool. And we heard about that in the movie. Zhang Zi, who is Dr. Chen, considered some to be mystical deities, which she did speak about in the movie. And then apparently some of the G-Force team captured several specimens. I don't know what that's about, but this is a little bit of lore. Ancient rivalries lurking. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. Ancient rivalries lurking in evidence at these coordinates. Now, I put these coordinates in, and I got 2 locations because the site that I use is not too what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not sure how good it is, how accurate it is. So maybe you guys, and we'll do this tonight as well. We'll talk about this at tonight's live stream. But perhaps the 2 locations I found were Turkey and the Center North Atlantic Ocean. So in Turkey, there's supposed to be a Titan named Tiamat. No, we didn't see it in the movie. I'm not 100% sure, but the North Atlantic Ocean is not located on the Monarch map. There is a location in the Atlantic Ocean, but it's southeast off the southern eastern seaboard, according to what I'm looking at on the site. Again, we'll take a look at this stuff on tonight's live stream at 9 p.m. But interesting that they gave these coordinates, and I do think that might, again, this is all theoretical. This is all me just theory crafting. Nothing's confirmed. They could have done all this just for fun. But where it gets really interesting is, and we'll go down right here, level 6 authorization required. And the reason I find this interesting is because what I do know about the Monarch website is that the highest level that you can get on the Monarch website is level 3. This was confirmed to me earlier. I asked a couple of people on the nation who went through the site up and down. This is a level 6 authorization monster that is not on the site. It's ultra classified, and take a look at that. Now, we haven't seen anything like this. Now, it does look very similar. If you look around the head portion, looks very similar to, if you can recall, when Ghidorah regenerated his head. You could argue that maybe this is what they use his DNA for, to create another creature. But I also think that this creature has to do with the Hollow Earth, and that this is possibly a different form or an evolved form of possibly a skullcrawler or just a whole new creature altogether. I do think this might have some relevance. And in the next scene, towards the end of this clip, you can see here Section 8 additional threats. And then in the clip, in the end of the movies, they show these men going through these caves, which I believe is part of the Hollow Earth. But I think right here, we're potentially looking at the monster that possibly is going to be showing up in Godzilla vs. Kong. And I think it's an original creation. I don't think this is Manda. I do think it's possibly what becomes of the DNA from Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. That's just a guess. But I don't think this would be put here for nothing. It's very obvious this is something we haven't seen yet. And I know that there's a creature called Leviathan that's supposed to be like a sea creature or a sea serpent, I think some people said. I don't think we've gotten to see him yet. But I don't think this is him. I think this is a new creature. I think this is a tease for what we might see in the final in Godzilla vs. Kong. I think some people's theory, I think some people's theories are correct that they will be forced to team up at some point. That doesn't mean we won't get a definitive winner in the movie. I think that'll be established before they have to team up. But I think this is the creature we're looking at. Again, this is all theory. This is all just fun speculation. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I don't want people thinking that this is a guarantee. It's not. It's just a theory that I'm having fun with. But I do think that this was put here for a reason. It flashes by really fast. Okay. Now, just so you know, don't get too crazy. This print on the bottom is just like a copyright print, like all movies do. So I already read through it. Trust me, I went through that. But level 6 authorization Monarch, ultra classified, which means it's not for the public. And remember, Monster Zero was on the website, even though they mentioned in the movie that he was unlisted and a recent discovery. I think this, the only thing that leans me towards it not being the creation by Jonah Allen is the fact that it's already in the Monarch file. It's already been classified, and it's already a level 6. I think this is a Hollow Earth monster. I do think it may either be an evolutionary form of the Skullcrawler, because the skull looks very similar. The only thing that kind of makes me think a Ghidorah DNA splice is there's also certain things about the head that are very similar to Ghidorah when he regenerates. But if I was a guessing man, I think this is an evolved form of a Skullcrawler that lives in the Hollow Earth, that can actually travel through the Hollow Earth. He may be both terrestrial and oceanic. And you know, maybe that's something we can't see here in the picture, but perhaps he has portions of his lower body that can travel better on land, like a snake, and then in the sea, he's like a serpent. Again, this fun theory crafting I wanted to point out to you guys with these redactions. I know a lot of people had wondered what they were, and I wanted to kind of break them down. And most of it is just good, fun lore. But then when I ran into this, I said, you know what? This is pretty significant. I'm definitely going to point this out and then see where you guys roll. But anyway, that's it for this video. I wanted to just kind of touch base with this. We will talk more about this tonight. I think it's worth talking about. I think it's something we should at least, if nothing else, remember and keep in the back of our head until Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. But I think we might have found some sort of evidence of potentially something. But of course, it could mean nothing, because Mike Doughty said, just as much as there's a lot of Easter eggs at the end credits, not all of them are going to come to fruition. And I do believe that. I just happen to lean towards that this could mean something for the next movie. I don't think they would highlight this. And I don't say highlight, obviously it went by quick, but I don't think they would put this like this, put a level 6 authorization, which obviously means it's not on the website. And then it says ultra classified. And the reason I don't think it's a Jonah Allen creation based on Ghidorah's DNA is because it's already in Monarch's file. They've already found it. They've classified it, obviously huge, top secret, and you need to have level 6 authorization just to get it, just to find out about it. So share in the comments what you guys think. I thought this was pretty cool stuff. I wanted to share it. And like I said, come to tonight's live stream, because we'll talk more about this and really start going into theories. I want to get a little better, more confirmed look at those coordinates that were in a couple of, I'll pull them back here, maybe so you guys can check them out too. But those coordinates, I think, have some relevancy. I just need to get a little bit more right here. I just need to get a little bit more accurate reading as to where they are. Because right now, I have one time I put them in, and it was Turkey. And then another time I put them in because the website says you need to put in a hyphen. I put in a hyphen, and it turned out to be North Atlantic, the North Atlantic Ocean, dead center between like the eastern seaboard of the United States and then right as Europe starts. So anyway, guys, that's it. I'll see you tonight on the live stream at 9 p.m. here on the channel. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comments. So, all right, that's it. Thank you. Have a good one.